How did it end? Author Orpheus to read for minutes published 7.09. 2021 updated 7.09. 2021 The series, Duet by Right, tells about the work of law enforcement officers. This is another sharp-edged series with chases and shootouts. They were very popular in the 1930s of the 20th century. Then was the heyday of movies and TV series about the mafia. And it was in the United States, not in Russia. But then the fashion came to the territory of the Russian Federation. Somewhere from the 1970s began the fashion for such works. In these serials, combat scenes are combined with the detective development of the plot. The viewer is shown the world of criminals and servants of the law. Investigations and shootings usually do not give boredom. Cool plot twists justify the twisted detective genre. Although, if the viewer knows who the killers are, it becomes uninteresting to watch. The great Agatha Christie has already had her hand in this. Probably many adults in their youth read the works of this writer. Now the plots have migrated to the movie industry. Take at least the old series, Agatha Christie's Poirot. And in Russia, they started to invent their own plots. Although, probably, if you look closely, you can see that they are similar to those that were presented in classic works. So, let's take a look at the series, Duet by Right. A small town, lost in the vastness of Russia. And everything is the opposite. From the capital it goes to work Major Tatiana Titova. And it usually happens so that from a small town for merit goes to the big city law enforcement officer or a person of any other position. By the way, in Moscow Tatiana was engaged in especially important cases. And she moved to a small town as an ordinary employee of the legislative bodies. She was demoted. So something is already here. The main thing is that everything about Tatiana Titova's life is not publicized. There's an immediate uproar. What could it be? A person transferred from Moscow. She was a very important person there. Whatever it means, but the work of the legislature continues. Tatiana Titova dares not object and begins her activities in the small town. Lieutenant Alexander Rybak works together with her. Also her colleagues are expert criminalist Gaevsky, who looks at the world very cynically, and forensic expert Mikhail Tuchkov. Major Alla Davidova becomes the girl's boss. They were best friends. But then for a long time did not communicate. Now Alla and Tatiana will take on difficult cases and solve them. It's not an easy case. But still, there is a black streak between young women. Alla Davidova thinks that Tatiana Titova agreed to a demotion with a transfer to a small town because of her love for her husband Andrew. The first episode of the series shows how Tatiana Titova is transferred from Moscow to a small town. Being an investigator, she becomes a simple operative. Her boss is put Major Alla Davidova. The rest of the staff wonder why the girl was transferred from such a high post, with a demotion, to a small town. After all, in Moscow Tatiana was happy. But it's all trifles. After all, the corpse of a girl is found in the river. Now Tatiana and Alla decide to pursue the case. There is a possibility that the girl, whose dead body was found, committed suicide. But it is quite possible that she was murdered. Next. The girls have many similar cases ahead of them. In the next episodes they will have to unravel a case in which they found the corpse of a mother and an infant. Finds out that the girl's name is Anna. But who killed her? And who the infant is? Whether she's his mother or whether he ended up with her for another reason. Personal issues are also addressed. Tanya's boss Alla asks why she moved from Moscow. Then Titova says that she separated from her husband. It remains to find out who her husband is. In the last episodes we'll investigate the murder of a certain Anna Samova. Tanya Titova clarifies the relationship with Zotov. They are photographed by Olga. In general, Duet by Right, a sharp series, in which there are elements of melodrama.